Assalamualaikum, my name is Mohammad Ashraff bin Mohammad Zaidi. My Meta ID is B0623101123, supervised by Encik Mohammad Ashraff bin MD Taib with panel Dr. Siti Nobaya binti Yahya. The project is titled The Rise of Social Commerce, Analyzing TikTok Shop Influence on Consumer Purchasing Behavior Compared to Traditional E-commerce. This study compares how TikTok Shop's discovery lead shoppertainment model shaped buying behavior relative to search-driven platforms such as Shopee, focusing on credibility, attractiveness, and engagement among Malaysian Gen Z. For background study, the retail market is shifting from search-driven e-commerce to discovery-led social commerce. In 2025, Southeast Asia's GMV reached around 157.6 billion, and TikTok Shop in Malaysia grew by 132% year-on-year, making it one of the fastest-growing platforms in the region. Shopee emphasized planned, task-oriented shopping, while TikTok Shop integrates short-form videos, live streams, and influencer marketing to make shopping entertaining, a phenomenon known as shoppertainment. This transformation reflects broader consumer behavior trends. Malaysian Gen Z increasingly values authenticity, interactivity, and entertainment in their shopping experiences. Unlike older generation who rely on product search and reviews, Gen Z often discovers product through algorithm-driven feeds and influencer recommendation. This study applies the stimulus organism response (SOR) framework and trust transfer theory (TTT) to explain how platform stimuli and influencer trust drive purchasing behavior, highlighting the shift from rational to emotional decision-making in digital commerce. Problem statement. There is limited comparative evidence on how platform architecture shapes consumer behavior. Shopee supports planned purchases with clarity, detailed product information, and buyer protection policies, making it a trusted platform for rational decision-making. In contrast, TikTok Shop fosters impulse buying through entertainment-driven content, but this raises concern about privacy, authenticity, and product equality. Consumers often face a trust gap, while TikTok Shop offers excitement and engagement. Questions remain about whether credibility is compromised by influencer, bias, or misleading context. Businesses also struggle to balance entertainment with transparency. Without competitive studies, it is unclear how credibility, attractiveness, and engagement predict purchasing behavior differently across TikTok Shop and Shopee. This study addressed the gap by focusing on Malaysian Gen Z, who represent the largest and most digitally active consumer segment. Conceptual framework. The framework positions brand credibility, brand attractiveness, and consumer engagement as independent variable (IV), influencing consumer purchasing behavior as DV. Platform context moderates this relationship. TikTok Shop's discovery-led environment is expected to amplify attractiveness and engagement, while Shopee's search-driven model emphasizes credibility and usefulness. For research objectives, the objectives are RO1, examine how brand credibility influences purchasing behavior across TikTok Shop and Shopee. RO2, to analyze the effect of brand attractiveness on purchasing behavior. And RO3, to investigate the impact of consumer engagement on purchasing behavior. This objective provide a clear roadmap for testing the hypothesis. Research question and hypothesis. This study asks RQ1, how brand credibility influences purchasing behavior on TikTok Shop compared to Shopee. RQ2, to what extent brand attractiveness affects purchasing behavior. And RQ3, what impact consumer engagement has on purchasing behavior. From this, three hypotheses are proposed. H1, brand credibility positively influence purchasing behavior. H2, brand attractiveness positively influence purchasing behavior. H3, consumer engagement positively influence purchasing behavior. These hypotheses will be tested using survey data and structural modeling. Brief literature review. Several studies provide the foundation for this research. T et al. 2023 validated the SOR model in Malaysia, showing that the visual appeal and product feasibility drive impulse buying. Putri et al. 2024 emphasized that trust and privacy concerns are key predictors of Gen Z purchase intention. Mahbub et al. 2024 identified trust as mediator between social presence and purchase intention. Pineda et al. 2024 compared Shopee and TikTok, finding Shopee valued for usefulness and TikTok preferred for ease of use and entertainment. Together, these studies highlight credibility, attractiveness, and engagement, but most examine platform in isolation. The gap is a direct comparative analysis of these predictors across TikTok Shop and Shopee, focusing on Malaysian Gen Z. For research methodology, this study adopts a quantitative, comparative cross-sectional design with a deductive approach. The target population is Malaysian Gen Z that born around 1997 to 2012, selected because they are the most active users of social commerce. Using convenience sampling, this study aims for 150 respondents, ensuring sufficient data for analysis. Primary data will be collected through a pilot-tested online questionnaire distributed via Google Form. The instrument used a 5-point Likert scale to measure brand credibility, brand attractiveness, consumer engagement, and purchase behavior. With items adapted from validated studies, a pilot test with 20 to 30 respondents ensures clarity and reliability. For analysis, the study employs PLS-SEM to test the structural model. Reliability will be assessed using Crunchbase Alpha, validity through average variance extracted (AVE), and factors loadings. While descriptive statistics summarize respondent profiles, multi-group comparisons will highlight differences between TikTok Shop and Shopee. Quality checks include bias and multicollinearity tests to ensure robust results. Expected outcomes and significance. This study is expected to show the brand credibility, brand attractiveness, and consumer engagement all positively influence Gen Z provide purchasing behavior, but with differentiation across platform. On TikTok Shop, the discovery lead environment and interactive content are anticipated to make attractive and engagement the strongest drivers, encouraging impulse purchase and emotional connection. On Shopee, the search-driven structure and emphasis on product information and buyer protection are expected to make credibility the most important factors, reinforcing planned and rational purchases. Academically, the research extends the stimulus organism response model (SOR) and trust transfer theory (TTT) into the context of social commerce in Malaysia, filling a gap in comparative studies and providing evidence on how platform design shapes consumer behavior. Practically, the finding will guide business in tailoring strategies. TikTok Shop should emphasize creative content, influencer engagement, and interactive features, while Shopee should highlight transparency, product reliability, and trust signal. Societally, the study underscored the importance of ethical disclosure of sponsored content, accurate product information, and consumer education to help Gen Z distinguish authentic content from manipulated tactics. This insight can inform platform standard and regulatory discussions on digital consumer protection. For conclusion, this research clarifies how TikTok shoppertainment model reshapes purchasing behavior compared to search-driven platform, focusing on credibility, attractiveness, and engagement. It provides academic contribution by extending key theories, practical guidance for business to adapt strategies, and social insight for ethical standards in social commerce. This study ultimately highlights how Malaysian Gen Z are redefining the future of online shopping. Thank you for your attention. I will come feedback and will refine the work based on my SB and my panel comments.